Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're a new subscriber, glad to have you here. If you are a long-time subscriber, I appreciate your support and thanks for stopping by again. I haven't done too much lately. I know I've been a little bit busy and kind of got away from things, but I kind of felt it was probably a good time to just kind of address some things. And um, a lot of things going on in the world, all over the place, and things that could possibly affect us. And just want to just kind of hopefully maybe give you some inspire you to get out there and get get a little ahead of the game if we need to be in that. If we tend to get in these situations because we don't know what's coming down the pike. But because as I do this video, this will be loaded up probably the same day as I'm doing it. So we're right here in the middle of November, right before Thanksgiving. So currently, obviously, unless you've had your head in the sand, we're involved in the Ukraine and Russia conflict, and now it looks like we're getting involved over in the Middle East with Israel and with the Palestinians. So, how can this affect us? I don't know, and I don't know how it's going to affect us. I know I've kind of kept my ear to the ground a little bit, and that's a little bit why I've been kind of silent, because I've been trying to kind of feel what a lot of the different channels are talking about. And it's kind of, a lot of it's fear mongering, and a lot of it is, just basically use common sense, I guess, the best. And then, and then everything in between. So I'm going to give you just my take on things a little bit, because I am not a foreign policy expert, nor do I ever claim to be one. But I just feel this should be no different than, and anything else. I mean, obviously it's a different kind of problem, if we could say that. If you're here, it's because most likely you're interested in being prepared a little bit better. And I'm sorry if this video goes on a little bit. It might tend to I hope it doesn't drag on too much. But we don't want to panic in these situations because we don't know what's going on. And to be honest with you, if you're relying on the mainstream media or our government, you're never going to know the true story. So you've got to kind of look for your own, get your own information and, make your own conclusions about what you think is best for you and your family. We're all in different situations. We all have, some of us like myself, my wife, our kids are out of the house, but our kids are draft age. So, that's a concern for us. If you have small children, trying to explain to them what is going on, because they're probably hearing things on the news. I don't follow a lot of the news, and I don't follow much social media as far as mainstream media kind of sources. So I can't really say what they're doing, but make sure you're not scaring the daylights out of your children either. But it's okay, I think, to honestly explain to them, a little bit about what's going on. So they don't hear things like that scares them too. But I think we do have to face reality that we don't know what's going on, and we're not fighting your typical two armies, battling each other to see who's the tougher guy on the block. You're fighting an ideology, which is different than fighting an army, if you will. So that puts things a little bit different, because that ideology doesn't respect the lives of women and children. And I'm not going to try to get political here. So if you want to argue with me, go right ahead. You can argue with me all day long. I'm not going to, this isn't a religious discussion. It's not a political discussion. It's reality. I'm not taking sides here. This isn't about that. I'm not a war strategist, like I said, but I really think that you should be prepared for what could possibly happen down the road. And which, to be honest with you, I don't know what that is. And any of the channels that are telling you they know exactly what's going to happen and they got all this stuff, they don't know either. Probably our leaders in charge don't even know. I mean, they may know where we're headed a little bit, but nobody really knows the outcome. Well, I say that. Maybe there is, because I sometimes believe there might be outcomes that we really don't want to, that we don't want to face, because we don't want to really look in that direction without sounding like a conspiracy theorist. So, but when we start getting into these conflicts and things, it can start affecting some things as far as supply shortages and things like that. And oddly enough, with all this unrest in the Middle East, the gas prices have seemed to stabilize and even come down in my area, which is a little bit suspect to me. I don't know if it's because we just had, you know, we have an election coming up next year, or we just had the local, some of the, depending where your state is. I don't, we, a lot of it was local elections here. So I don't know, I don't want to go out on that conspiracy theory. I have enough of my own, which I'm not going to share here. I don't want to get anybody thinking like that. I want you to think practically. So, be ready for just the basic things as always. Treat this like any other situation, whether it's a flood, a job loss, or anything. Get the things you need for your house. Get the things you need. Get ahead a little bit. You got winter coming. If you got your generators, make sure your oil's changed. Keep them things running. Keep fuel on hand. The fuel shortages could be a real deal at some point. I don't know. But we are dealing with the Middle East where we do get a lot of our oil. So, keep that in mind. Maybe store up a few cans in your, in your garage. But something else I want to touch on a little bit more so is, and I have touched on this before, but I'm going to go in a little different direction with that, and it's situational awareness. There's a lot of threats coming in from some of these nations that are, around Israel that aren't necessarily friends of the U.S. either. And we do know that there are sleeper cells here in America. We know that if 9/11 didn't teach us anything, then, I don't know what to tell you. So I think there's a real possibility that at some point there could be events to take place here. I mean, you can already see our own people are already protesting in the streets for different things. And I'll never, I'll never go against your right to protest or assemble and speak your piece and try to make change. I'm definitely all for that. But some of this is getting a little bit out of hand, I think, at times. And a lot of it's misguided. So, depending on where you live, I mean, it seems like a lot of the rural areas are maybe a little less affected by some of this. But if you live in a city, be aware, be aware of what's going on. I mean, you might be driving home from work and end up in the middle of a protest somewhere. So keep that keep that awareness, know what's going on around your area so you don't get yourself in a situation, because I know I see a lot of these people and say, oh, if I get in there, I'm just going to run these people over and I'm going to, I'm going to use my firearm. I'm going to do. The reality of it is you're probably not going to, you don't know how you're going to react in a situation like that. So the best thing to do is that in that situation is avoid it altogether. But definitely have your head on a swivel. When you start going into these areas, events, I mean, just look at what happened in Israel. They attacked people at a music festival. Why can't that happen here? It can. There's large gatherings all over this country. We're a large country. There's things happening everywhere. Up north here, we tend to see less outdoor gatherings, things like that. But, in the southern states, you can do, pretty much year round, whatever you want. So, when you go places, even as simple as a mall, I've been hearing different stories of, some outliers, people, kind of going off the deep end and things like that. And, shopping malls, grocery stores. And this happens, even prior to this. I know in Buffalo, was about a year or so ago, the guy, opened fire in a parking lot. Keep your head on that swivel. Know where your surroundings are. When you pull in, when you pull into the grocery store, make sure you're pulling your car where you can get out in a hurry if you need to. Park where it's well lit. Don't park in the dark. And I'm going to say this, and I hope nobody takes this wrong, but, ladies, please use discretion when you do things. If at all possible, husbands, go with your wives. Go to the grocery store with them. Keep an eye out. This time of year is not, not only we're going to need to look for terrorist cells or anything else, we're getting close to the holidays. People start getting desperate. People start taking advantage of people that they know are out shopping, out doing their holiday get-togethers, things like that. Be careful wherever you go. I see so many stories of people getting carjacked at a gas station at 1 a.m. or doing this. Listen, if you need gas in your car, get it on your way home from work at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Don't decide at midnight, hey, let's go down and fill up the tank. nothing good happens after dark when it comes to that kind of stuff. They're lurking out there. Use common sense when you're doing things. Don't go jogging through the woods at dusk by yourself. And I don't want, don't take this as a chauvinistic rant. I'm not. We just have to be more vigilant. I see so many things on TV, people putting themselves in situations that I know could be avoided just with a little bit of common sense. So please use it. Use common sense, use discretion. Um, the best fight, the best way to win a fight is not to get in one in the first place. Because there's never any winners of that. Don't put yourself in a position where you're in a dangerous area. Stay away from that. Don't if at all possible, do things when you're together, and also too when you're going together. I mean, if you're your husband and wife, who's ever gets out of the car to make sure you're watching the area, because I see a lot of these videos of people just getting like people surrounding them at a gas station, cars coming in. Make sure you can make sure you're watching for this kind of thing, and make sure you have your everyday carry tools, if we will. I know YouTube doesn't like those algorithms. I really don't care. But anyway, have your defenses in order. Know what you're doing. Know how to use them. And be prepared for this kind of stuff, because it's happening. Because we talk about situational awareness. You should be on that at all times. I really feel, when you walk into a store, know where the exits are. Know where the emergency exits are. Take a look around. Is anybody acting strange? Anywhere you go, just do that. And honestly, if you see it, avoid that. Avoid that area. Don't be a hero when it's not necessary. So keep that in mind. That was a couple things. I just wanted to touch on that kind of stuff. Like I said, I know it's been a while. I typically don't get real serious or do any. I try not to fearmonger on here. I don't want to get people worked up. I want them to get prepared, and I want them to be comfortable with that. Because if I always, like, for myself, I feel better knowing that I'm prepared for different situations. With winter coming up, make sure your car's in good working order. Make sure you keep a half a tank of gas in that thing at all times. If it needs things, get it now. If your car needs tires, go get them now. Don't wait till we have 8 feet of snow. Get your supplies before the weather breaks. Most stuff you can get ahead of time. I always laugh because every time where I live, if you go to the store the day before they're calling for a storm, they're out of milk, toilet paper, and bread. Why, I don't know, because, I don't know. Because typically the stores are going to be open with, after the storm. They're going to plow it. We live in the northeast. They, don't leave us stranded for long. So, but have your stuff ahead of time. Don't be, if it's bad outside and the roads are getting bad, stay home. Make sure you have what you need to last a couple of days. Use more common sense with things so you don't put yourselves in a bad situation. Like I said, especially this time of year, if your car's not in good order, get it, because you don't want to be stranded on the side of the road in the middle of a storm, with a flat tire because, you didn't check the belts or whatever. Keep some stuff in your car. Definitely keep jumper cables. I mean, that seems like a given to me. Keep a little external charger for your phone. Always good to have. Keep your phones charged if you can, because you may need them in an emergency. Throw some extra blankets in your car. Maybe one or two. Depending on how many people around. If you're by yourself all the time, throw a sleeping bag in your back seat. Make sure you have some water. Keep some snacks in there. I know a few years ago there was an accident here on the turnpike, and I think people were stranded for, I believe, 40 hours in some cases, because they couldn't get them turned around just because of the way the highway was. So, with that coming, that to me, that's situational awareness in itself. It's not always about being mugged at a gas station or, like I said, a group of terrorists attacking you at the mall. It's not always about that. Be aware of your situation or the situation you're going to put yourself in. So if you're traveling in a storm, be ready for that. Don't be careless. Take your time. Things like that. I mean, especially now with the holidays coming up, a lot of people are going to be on the roads. A lot of people are going to be traveling, which also means that there's going to be a lot of people trying to take advantage of that. So, please just be aware. Like I said, that's really what I wanted to touch on. Just, be aware of your surroundings. Be situationally aware. Um, Stay up on current events. I mean, I think that's part of situational awareness too. A lot of people they don't talk about that, but just being aware of what's going on in your neighborhood, in your state, in your country, around the world, because in many ways all that can affect you in some way, and that's being aware of a situation, thus situational awareness. So it's not always about your personal safety at that moment. It's also about knowing what could be down the road, or the consequences of what's going on. So definitely do that. Get your spiritual uh, preparedness. Whatever you feel is best to make and keep in mind too, if you are firearms owners, there's a lot of things going down the pike as far as they're always trying to get something. Make sure you're stocked up on the things you need to keep that up and running, not just ammo, cleaning supplies, parts, whatever it is you need. Get out there and get trained. If you can afford it, definitely do that. If you know somebody that can help you out, do that. Just another way of being aware and being ready for what could possibly come. So I don't know if I'll get back on here before the holiday. So if I don't, I'm going to try. But if I don't, I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. Please spend it with your loved ones. Be careful if you're out traveling. Be aware of your surroundings. And I hope to see you soon. God bless all of you. And I will see you on the next video. If you like this, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And I hope you got something out of this. Anything any questions, comments, whatever, please put them in the comment section below. I appreciate it. And I do appreciate your support if you're repeat or if you're new subscribers. Thank you for stopping by. And I will talk to you all soon.